يا مصريين، يا أردنيين، يا ليبيا، يا جزائر، يا تونس، يا مغرب، يا كل الشعوب العربية، يا كفار، يا عالم، يا عالم متنا من الجوع، يا عالم متنا من الجوع. افتحوا المعبر، الناس ماتت من الجوع، احنا متنا من الجوع يا عالم، يا عالم متنا من الجوع. وصل صوتنا يا عمي، متنا يا عالم من الجوع، يا عالم بكفي، يا عالم بكفي، والله العظيم بكفي.
Yo, what is going on? It's your boy Maki, the historian, coming to you with another stream for Democracy 101. I want to say a big shout out and to salute everybody in the building. Please smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I already see my one of my number one supporters, VKB. She's always first to the party. Then I see my OG DP Rocker. Thank you both of you for pulling up. Please smash that like button. Like I said, if you come in, let me go to my co-host AC,
What's
my
good,
brother.
man? What's
I,
good, man?
yes, sir. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great these days, man. Can't complain. It's just we just living in some. I can't even describe these times, but hopefully it's all short lived. This is what people will call a real fad.
I hope so as well. I think depending on perspective, people have always been living in serious times. Like you got to think about it. People, I mean, there were two world wars in the past 100 years, and there was a whole civil rights movement where the country almost, what I'm saying, turned to revolution because of what was
Yep.
going on with black folks. So we've been through serious times before. We've been through weird fucking times before. We Now I will say this is by far the scariest. But we got some big topics to talk about today, AC. Obviously, I start my videos always with that boycott the genocide video as a part of my intro. We got some news, obviously, that all the Israeli hostages that are currently alive have been released. That's great news, as well as 2,000 Palestinian prisoners that were given life sentences. We're going to go into that, as well as the escalating actions that's going on in Chicago. It is getting wild up there. I mean, the feds, I mean, it's straight Gestapo time. That's the time and they on. And then lastly, we're obviously gonna have a conversation about AI and the potential short-term consequences financially as well as the long-term practical consequences of AI and it becoming enraptured in every aspect of our life. Um, but before we go into those topics, I want to just take some time. I wish I went live yesterday. Unfortunately, I had something that came up, AC. I'm glad you're here. You are somebody who is of native ancestry, so you have a very special connection to Christopher Columbus. And you probably have a perspective on it, and you may even have a history on it and the exploitation of your people that I think is very valuable that we should all hear. But before I kick it to you. I just want to say this motherfucker, or excuse me, let me be clean in saying this, but this dude should not have a fucking holiday.
Not at all.
Just plain straight up. He should not have a fucking holiday. We should not have a Christopher Columbus Day. Okay, I said it in a post I made yesterday. It shouldn't be no parades. It shouldn't be no days off. It shouldn't be no statues. It's just toss his bitch ass to the dustbin of history. Okay, from the time Columbus came to the Caribbean, this man was plotting. There's a letter he wrote to the Spanish crown where he describes the Taino people. And he says that these are the nicest people in the fucking world. Like, I literally just ask them for stuff and they give it to me. Like, it won't take more than 50 of us to come back here and subjugate them and make them do whatever the fuck they want. Like, there's nothing Christian in the way how these people move. Then when you go into the actual history and the actual eyewitness testimony of some of the people who witnessed the Caribbean Holocaust, who witnessed the genocide of the Taino people from Hispaniola to Cuba to Puerto Rico to all across the Lesser Antilles. This dude was the fucking devil. Like, he worked those people to death. The men would die working in the mines, and then the women would be worked to fucking death planting cassava fields, and in these conditions they can't procreate. And these women, they can't take care of their offspring. So you would see the birth rate decline drastically from the time these wicked fucking people led by Christopher Columbus came to the Caribbean. And we gonna get this dude a fucking holiday? Like and before I kick it to you, AC, every tactic of extermination or exploitation that's been put on the natives from the time the Europeans got to these shores, it was learned from Columbus, or I should say, it was push started by Columbus. And each of these boys, they gained they started their own methods of figuring out how to systematically murder these people. But like I said, I'm gonna kick it to you, and then we can move on to the other topics. But I just wanted to touch on the Caribbean Holocaust for a second. I wanted to commemorate it in my own way, and I'm gonna kick it to you. What are your feelings towards Columbus being somebody of native ancestry itself? And salute to Angie Baby in the building.
Um, I'm gonna say it like this. First, I'm gonna talk about Columbus' impact as those trading routes and things like that got more popular because the pirates generally went to the Caribbeans because the Caribbean weather, hurricane season, it's a lot. If you don't know those shores over there, you'll easily sink your ship. Um, Columbus' exploitation of just the Caribbean people within itself, him, people like Amerigo Vespucci, these were the guys who like opened up these doors that gave Spain, England, and Portugal, their rights to go over there and take those land and try to infringe the church's religious belief over their own indigenous beliefs. The extinction of the Tainos out of Puerto Rico, there is no real such thing as a Puerto Rican person. They're all of Taino descent. They had their own language, just like the Polynesians had their own language, had their own currency, had a king and queen. So with uh, with that being said, it it was a travesty from the first time that the statue of Columbus was proposed. Um, it was always something of contention between indigenous people, at least here on the East Coast, and you're talking from Florida to Maine, especially in the fact that uh, one of my sister tribes uh, were basically eradicated because they were on the island of Manhattan. You understand? My tribe was basically, if you go to the Museum of Transportation here in Brooklyn and things like that, you'll find that the Shinnecock people were actually part of the uh, Underground Railroad. Like, we were part. They were. We allowed Dutch settlers to come here, but uh, like slavery and things like that, that there's never been a, a a slave or a slave plantation here on this body of land that's called Long Island. That consists of Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk County. That's just never happened throughout the history, and I'm proud to say I'm on a body of land that never housed that never was involved in slavery whatsoever. But at the end of the day, when you look at Columbus's role, the man was lost. We all know that as a matter of fact. He was looking for India, so his equipment was off. They were fucked up by a storm, mutiny, a whole bunch of shit because people just started to lose faith in his captain. So the first body of land this guy actually sees, he's like, "Let's head towards that. That shit's got to be India." And you didn't know that you were thousands and thousands of miles off, not even in the same continent. So you got there and you gave us the name Indians, and these people weren't Indians. Those indigenous people he ran into were actually indigenous people who were more aligned with South American, or who had a more South American look. So at the end of the day, the history is just so broad. You would need like a 4 hour cook just to really put a put a stamp on how fucked up this dude Columbus was, and how of a travesty it was, and an insult to the indigenous people when you try to talk to us about fucking Thanksgiving and all of these other holidays and stuff like that. And then this country just goes ahead and puts up a statue of this guy who has ties to the Caribbean genocide, who has ties to the South American genocide, who has ties to, and I include Puerto Rico in that Caribbean type of territory and things like that. Although it's kind of more on the outskirts, but at the end of the day, these were all routes that these Portugal, Spanish, and some Italian ships were taking, coming to what they was calling the New World. So it's just like, man, just because people were welcome, and it wasn't always that, they knew which tribes were more susceptible. The Shinnecock people, you tried to have a European ship come here, 9 times out of 10 you did not walk away. Your ship was burnt, sank, in the whole 9 yards. We would just swim out, on small flat canoes that you couldn't detect and things like that. It'll look more like debris in the water, and we will get up on your ship, and everybody on that ship is gone. So that's just the way my people move. That's a proud history we walk around with. We were just known as the arbiters of the land, and we weren't going to let you know foreign entities who came and tried to threaten us with guns and then say we're here for peace, so accept our religion. We was like, you know what? Fuck your religion. We've got our own shit here. So we've been through slavery. We fought wars. We did a whole lot, and it's just not going to happen. So that's where I land that plane.
Most of. I just wanted to have the conversation about it for a second, and salute to Chop Cheese Tommy, a Puerto Rican himself. I just can't believe that, or I can believe I can believe it. We have an orange idiot who, I mean, is just outrageous himself in the White House, but America, it just shows me time and time again when I really take a good look at our history that it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
All this talk about freedom, all this talk about being the city on the hill, all this talk about tearing down tyrants, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like we for a decent period during the Cold War, we were the tyrants of the fucking world. If we really want to talk about it, I mean, they like these people that like Laura Loomer and all these other right wing types. They like to bag on the Taliban and say, "Oh yeah, we should have fought that war, and yeah, we need to get Iran out of here." We funded the Taliban at one point in time. We funded Al Qaeda at one point in time because we needed them to fight back against the Russians and
bro.
against any other communist enemies and factions we might have had in the area. We done funded genocides.
Let me take it
And,
back.
and
Let me take it back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, no, no. I was just gonna. I'll let you come in on this, and then we can move on to the next topic. I mean, we funded an entire. Not only have we funded genocides, we've sent young American men and women to die for foreign dictators. That's what the Korean War was about. AC. The Korean War was about the United States wanting to place a dictator that was more friendly to capitalist nations. That's all it was. South Korea wasn't the liberal democracy it was today.
Yeah,
So
and
no, I'm not.
also you have a large number of high level vets that also told you, uh, um, yeah, they needed that dictator, but the reason for that, more susceptible dictator, and you'll find this out through America's policy through the Middle East. It's the same exact policy. America was going into the big pharma boom. Pharmaceuticals were the thing that was like the next industrialized revolution. Pills, painkillers, medications, yada yada yada. This was the birth of big pharma. So when you look at places like Korea and Vietnam and things like that, they grew the best poppy seeds. I mean, not poppy seeds, but they grew the things that was necessary for heroin. Between heroin and cocaine, those two things were the underlying mixtures in early pharmaceuticals that removed pain. And you found cocaine, and there was a legal heroin trade that was pretty much global. So when you look at things like that, it's okay. We want to get in on this heroin market. We want to get on this cocaine market because we know that it can be. Uh, we can turn it into over counter commercialized drug dealing. They said no. We good exactly the way we are. No, we will not. Fuck your democracy. America's like, oh, for real. Fuck our democracy. And you got this little ass rinky dink, you know, village state. Do you really think you could fuck with our army? If we start sending in troops and things like that, occupy your waters and fuck up your trade routes? Okay, cool. All right. All right. When you have wars, the thing is when there are wars, where does the medications come from the wars? Who supplies the medications? Who supplies the painkillers and the antidepressants and everything else you need because you're involved in death from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep, and that's your whole deployment. That's just the attitude of what it is. Kill or be killed. You need some serious medications when you're involved in shit like that. And especially if you're doing 1, 2, 3 tours and shit like that and you're trying to move up in the ranks. So when you look at the Middle Eastern conflicts, it was all about crude oil. If you go back to the 60s and 70s, when it was America was funding the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization, America used to fund them. And then America turned their back on them for Israel because the PLO had their own agenda. Listen, we're not going to give you a state to whereas we already see the writing on the wall to whereas you're going to try to implement Israel over us. That's just not going to happen. All of this land is pretty much ours right now. So when Israel started to go in that war was the PLO was considered the terrorists, and that wasn't even a term back then. Terrorists, they were called guerrillas and shit like that. So when you just follow that and then okay, why do you want that? Oh, because Israel is more susceptible to the crude oil. If you have Israel in charge of that whole region and have them with the ability to expand that region, we have a friendly pipeline to where the prices won't go up. We can negotiate with you all day long. We could share in the wealth of all of this crude oil for plastics, for everything that we make. So yeah, we know regime change means there is something bigger. There is a bigger monetary value in why you're interested in that place. It has nothing to do with regime, and you don't give a fuck that they may be burning pregnant women in the streets and shit like that. You say that and you show videos like that so we can sympathize and empathize with that burning woman, but not knowing that you're only showing this because you want the crude oil over there and you need the regime change because it benefits you and it benefits the commercial sector of what the fuck's going on here. And that's when they talk about our strategic partners. You ain't got no strategic partners when you the fucking bully of the block. And that's where I land that
Absolutely.
plane.
Absolutely. You said a lot. And we're seeing the same thing play out right now in the South Caribbean. Prayers for people of Venezuela. I have a feeling I know how that situation is going to turn out. I ain't got no real warmth for Mr. Maduro, but hey, he knows what it is. He's sitting on top of a whole boatload of oil. He's sitting on the biggest reserves of oil in the world. We used to have that partnership with Venezuela where we would go 50-50. They would provide us with the crude and we would refine it on my island on St. Croix. You know what I'm saying? It's no reason we can't go back there, Mr. Maduro. I hope you figure that out before it's too late. But AC, we're gonna move on to some recent events. This or excuse me, my bad. So a federal judge has temporarily blocked Trump's attempt to send the National Guard to any place in Illinois, specifically to Chicago. The order from U.S. District Judge April Perry said the federal government is temporarily blocked from sending the National Guard from any state into Illinois. At least 500 troops, including some from Texas and California, have been sent to the Chicago area, including to an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Broadview, Illinois, roughly 12 miles west of downtown. She then goes on to say, there is overwhelming evidence submitted that the provocative nature of ICE's enforcement activity, the repeated constitutional violations, has itself caused significant increase in protest activity, said Perry, who was nominated by President Joe Biden. The temporary restraining order is expected to be in effect for 14 days. The ruling in Chicago is the latest of moves by federal judges pushing back against the Trump administration's tactics to step up immigration enforcement and crack down on protests in several cities across the union. Um, Christy Nome, who is just a dumb creature, I'm not even gonna call her a dog. That I mean, that's insulting to dogs themselves. But the creature, Christy Nome, who is also the head of Homeland Security, she put out a statement saying the president's lawful actions will make Chicago safer. We have the law and the supremacy clause on our side. So I'm gonna play a video right now, AC, and these motherfuckers are just out of order. And they're trying to incite a situation up there where motherfuckers just come out of their house and either beat them half dead or they just walk up on them and bow. Cause I mean, I'm gonna just play this video, and the lady that gets handled in this video, I want you to imagine if that was your. Oh, hold on, wait, did I even get the video uploaded? Man, damn. But just what I say, I want you to imagine that was your wife, your sister, your mother. These people straight up violated her. And give me one second. I'm getting the video up. I thought I had this bitch already posted. That's completely my bad. I dropped the ball on that. But AC, while that video gets loaded, what's your reaction to the temporary ruling from the judge? Who, by the way, she also said she's probably gonna extend the temporary ruling another 14 days after
Okay.
they exceed it.
I'm gonna take it back to a discussion we had, I think, on the last show, where you and I were trying to express that the president does have rights over the National Guard, but he cannot send the National Guard into any state without that state's governor's approval or asking, right? We were told, no, no, the president could do whatever he wanted, and we were like, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
bunch of
no.
bullshit.
right? And then I brought up, I said, listen, the president, even when we're talking about the regular military, he cannot move soldiers without congressional approval. Then it was, no, 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 you're saying false information. So I just, I I kind of left the argument alone because I didn't want it to turn too much of into that side argument. But the only time the president can actually do anything like that is through executive order. And if he does it through executive order, he puts himself on a 60-day clock to get congressional approval. This is what got Bill Clinton in trouble. This is what got Obama in trouble. You know, when these guys use executive order to send troops without congressional approval. You feel what I'm saying? When you go back to what got Ronald Reagan in trouble himself, that was the Iran Contra because he sent weapons. You feel what I'm saying? And a small band of soldiers to train how to use these weapons without congressional approval, and we saw the big stink of that. Now, through executive order, the very first president to use executive order was Abraham Lincoln, and that's because the country was in a civil war. I believe this is the reason why Trump is trying to incite a civil war because within Abraham Lincoln's move of using an executive order to send troops to fight and things like that, um, he also um, uh, removed what was it?
Habeas corpus.
Yeah, habeas corpus. You feel what I'm saying? So this is the reason why this man is trying to do that, and then they're going to use both of those things as nefarious as possible. But uh, Roosevelt used executive order, and Truman used executive order, and like I said, Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Obama all used executive orders. But from the time of basically um, Clinton, Bush, and Obama, we were past that. Listen, you gotta just do it the right way. 9 times out of 10, if the intelligence is what you say it is, it'll be a bipartisan vote anyway. So the executive order shit just doesn't make any sense. Just don't circumvent what is the law. So with that being said, what Trump is trying to do or what he's attempting to do, and now he's got a conglomerate of federal judges that hands down just basically recently dropped a letter saying, listen, we're in it for the fight. Whatever state you're trying to send these um, national guards to, and it wasn't express consent from the governor, you're gonna lose that case.
That's
Just don't even
something
bring it
else.
into my court.
That's something else. This judge, she actually mentioned the Oregon case, and she mentioned what was
Yeah,
going on over there, and she used that to say that DHS has lost credibility in her eyes, and they
yeah,
have this thing. There's this great Army lawyer. He does it's called the Legal Breakdown with Brian Tyler Cohen. His name is
yeah. I watch
Glenn
it.
Kirschner. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
and he
know who
talks
Glenn
about.
Kirshner is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, great legal mind and great, and he used to be an army lawyer. To anybody watching, but yeah, he talks about that federal judges and judges in general, they give the executive the presumption of regularity, the presumption that you do not have a crazy orange fascist in the White House with Stephen Miller's hand up his ass telling him what to do. You know what I'm saying? They might be very close to losing that, especially when you got this girl talking about DHS, one of the government agencies, and one of the cabinet chairs. When you talk about them losing credibility in her eyes, and I don't believe she's the matter of fact. I think she might be or excuse me, she's not the Trump appointed. The Oregon judge is the Trump appointed judge, but still, it brings the point up that these people are losing the presumption of regularity because of all the illegal shit they're doing. And she brought up this judge. She brought up the constitutional violations. She brought up the incitement going on from ICE and BPD, which is just it's just fucking crazy to me that Border Patrol is out here fucking up people. Like
Yeah,
literally, my whole entire understanding of Border Patrol is that your ass is supposed to be at the border,
yeah,
not in the interior of the United States.
yeah.
But
So then it fucks up the argument when you tried to campaign on there's a crisis at the border, and from what the appearance
exactly,
is, you have the National Guard at the border, but you got Border Patrol police acting as ICE agents, which is just like, why the fuck would you do that? Why not pass the bill that was a bipartisan bill between Democrats and Republicans to strengthen the border?
because they don't give a fuck. It's just
No
something
doubt.
catchy to run on, and they want to put hands on illegals.
Yeah, for the optics. They want to seem like,
Absolutely.
oh, we're
But
super
but
tough.
but mm, yeah, but quickly, one of those or not quickly, I want to get your reaction to this. This is just one of a whole score of videos of Border Patrol and the feds being out of order in Chicago. Obviously, we talked about that crazy fucking situation where they raided an apartment building and snatched up U.S. citizens and had their kids zip tied in the back of a U-Haul for hours. This right here is just fucking insane. They snatch up some lady, then they do a U-turn in the middle of the street and crash into another lady. Then they get the fuck out, guns drawn, and snatch that other lady out of the car. I mean, this is the time when motherfuckers like when motherfuckers need to start carrying their straps. Cause that's completely unconstitutional what they did to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah! Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run! Hit and run! Look, hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon! Yo, watch out! What's wrong with you? You hit it! You hit her! Yo! What's wrong? You hit her! You hit her! You guys hit her! You guys hit her! What's wrong with y'all? Y'all hit her? Y'all bust a whole U-turn in the middle of the street! Y'all hit her! Y'all on camera! Leave her alone! She ain't even do shit! She trying to go to work! She's trying to go to work!
What the fuck?
Oh, what? Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart.
Get off!
She's a female.
Get off of her right now!
You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her?
Get off!
You guys hit her. Man, how y'all gonna arrest her, man? Y'all bogus as
Get
fuck.
off her!
You hit her. You guys hit her. You guys hit her. Whole lawsuit right there.
Believe that. I'm telling you. Don't get your issue. Keep fucking around in Chicago. Keep fucking around in Chicago. Hey, baby girl, you good. Don't worry about it.
Stop
Don't
resisting.
worry about it. We need that information, bro.
Ah, bogus as fuck.
So yeah, they snatched this poor lady out of her car after they hit her. They did a U-turn in the street. I didn't catch that part of they didn't catch that part of the video. But these feds, they did a U-turn in the middle of the street because they were trying to speed away with this person that they just snatched up, and they hit her car. And then they initially tried to speed away, then they stopped and come back and just completely fuck your constitutional rights. Let's go, bitch, you're going. I mean, they want, and you heard the brother at the end say, keep fucking around with Chicago. This is what they want. They want some
It's
type
going.
of react. They want a summer of love. They
Well,
want them
I'm
type of
gonna.
Black Lives Matter and riots.
What I'm gonna say is, you're asking for something you're not trained to handle or deal with. Okay, so this is what I'm saying in that. Me personally, um, if I had a poker on me or whatever, I would have poked their tires. While you doing that and everybody's filming, and me personally, I can't stand to watch a guy with the phone camera watch this woman get dragged out of her shit and you not press them faggots. And excuse my language for that, because that's what them
Nah,
dudes
call
are.
them what it
Because
is. Yeah,
I
that much of
never see
facts.
you dudes, go after a 6 foot, whatever, 200 pound, uh, 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 illegal, whoever. I always see y'all going after somebody who is extremely vulnerable, who is terrified of you. Let's show the video of you going after someone who's tough, who got his hands up and like, what? You come at me, what? You feel what I'm saying? Get it on that. They won't do that because it's about fear and intimidation. Now, me personally, if I'm walking up on that and I know my lady just left the house and I see them hit my lady car, I'm doing a Yui, going to get the bliggity, and I'm just walking up. The minute you putting hands on her, I'm taking you. I'm sending you home. And I don't give a fuck what people say. You can tell me, yeah, that was the thing that started it. No, y'all niggas said Charlie Kirk was the thing that started it. So it's already here. So why do I need to give a fuck? If y'all telling me Charlie Kirk did all of this and Charlie Kirk is the birth of all of this and y'all gonna use Charlie Kirk as the martyr and all of this, all right, we already here. Then let me pick up my jump off and I'm gonna start putting you dudes, I'm gonna start sending you dudes home. Period. Because I dare you to bring that shit you got right there. I dare you to bring that shit to Harlem, the Bronx, Brooklyn, or Queens. And in fact, I'm going to tell them where all the Mexicans are. They're in Bed-Stuy right now, and they're in Brownsville, in certain parts of East New York, more closer to Queens. I dare y'all to come there. I dare you pussies to come here. Y'all gonna fuck around and find out. Because I know for a fact, my tribe ain't gonna allow it. You try that to Long Island. You're gonna find a whole bunch of indigenous people that's gonna be right there like, bruh. No. They'll be at that ICE facility. Like, look, you got two choices. Either you stay and you get sent home, or you pack up and leave and go home. And that's what it is. I couldn't sit there and be a man and film that. I just couldn't. I could not be a man and film that. Because for me, it's not a matter of whether or not I know this lady, it's my mother, my sister, it's this, and that. You're terrorizing a female for no fucking reason. That's just like me seeing a female getting raped on the street, and I'm just gonna be like, yo, she might have asked for it. Maybe that little mini skirt.
Say graped or assaulted.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, that's the equivalent of that. That I could as a dude, and for all these dudes who got problems with homosexuality, I don't understand how you can stand there with a camera and film that, and then tell them you wilding out, y'all crazy. All right, then show them what crazy is.
AC, I absolutely hear you. And what I just saw in that video was fucking crazy. And if that was like I told you from the beginning when I was about to play it, if that was my mother, my sister, my grandmother, my cousin, I don't know how I might have reacted. Because that was just bogus as hell. They hit her car and then they walk up straps out and pull this poor lady out
You make them
and terrorize her.
shoot you. You stand in front of them and say, listen, you want to do this, you got to shoot me. Shoot
That's
me,
how it
pussy.
had to be.
Shoot me. Shoot me on camera right now, pussy. Shoot me. And you walk right up to that burner. Shoot me right to his face and you beg that man, fucking shoot me. Shoot me in broad daylight in front of all of these people. Do it.
Man, you see, you the guy I want next to me, on my shoulder in the revolution. I'm gonna come to my brother Boxer Scholar and salute to D Frilio also pulling up to the panel, man. Salute to both of y'all. Did y'all see the video me and AC just reacted to?
No.
Well,
No, play
okay,
it
I'll
again.
play it. Yeah, I'll play it one more time for y'all. This just took place in Chicago. And let me just give some context quickly. Some Border Patrol, federal agents, they just snatched up some lady from a library, and they were rushing away, and they did a U-turn in the middle of the street and crashed into a lady, and then they got up out of there, and then they stopped, got out with their guns drawn, and snatched up the lady. And here's the video.
Yeah! Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run! Hit and run! Look, hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon! Yo, watch out! What's wrong with you? You hit it! You hit her! Yo! What's wrong?
You hit her.
You hit her! You guys hit her! You guys hit her! What's wrong with y'all?
Y'all hear her?
Y'all bust a whole U-turn in the middle of the street. Y'all hit her. Y'all on camera. Leave her alone. She ain't even do shit. She trying to go to work. She's trying to go to
Let
work.
go of her. What the fuck?
Oh, what? Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart.
Get off.
Crazy.
Get off.
She's a
of her.
female.
Get off of her right now.
You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her?
Get off.
You guys hit her.
Who is this camera?
Man, how y'all gonna arrest her, man? Y'all bogus as
Get
fuck.
off her. Hey, what's it?
You hit her. You guys hit her. You guys hit her. Whole lawsuit right there.
Believe that. I'm telling you. Don't get your issue. Keep fucking around in Chicago. Keep fucking around in Chicago. Hey, baby girl, you good. Don't worry about it.
Stop
Don't
resisting.
worry about it. We need that information, bro.
Ah, bogus as fuck.
Yeah, very, very, very wild stuff. I'm gonna come to Boxer Scholar first. Boxer Scholar, what's your reaction to that video? Also,
So
a judge recently came out with a ruling blocking Trump from sending any National Guard troops to Illinois.
yeah, so this is insane, Marky Dan. So people already have a bad disdain for law enforcement, right? Whether you agree or disagree with it, we know that that's a reality, right? And these people are not helping the disdain that people have for law enforcement, because people don't know. It's not their job to know that these are not real officers. They're federal agents, and it's different. But they are operating like, if that was a police officer, you can get badge numbers, you can call supervisors. There's some level of accountability. These motherfuckers are walking around in jobs and full body, full body like cover-ups, to where nobody could see who they are to even identify them. And then they got if you ask like who would be their boss, technically they're federal agents, so it would go up the federal ladder. And all of those people are from the same administration. They're not going to investigate anything. So, Marky, then the clip I thought you were talking about, and you could look this up while maybe D Free got his turn. There was a reporter, a white reporter, who ICE put in the van, took her away, and wrecked into another car. And it's like, where did these people learn to drive? Like, why do they always wreck stuff? They're literally Grand Theft Auto. You know, on Grand Theft Auto, when you don't go on the mission and you just go do some rogue stuff, and you wrecking the cars and fight old grannies and stuff. They are literally doing Grand Theft Auto in real time, and there's no accountability. It's insane. It's really insane when you think about it, that this is the reality of America. Like, I would have never thought. I would have never thought that dang, it's here. It's almost like the surrealness of when
Bro,
COVID happened.
Bakushka, I literally had a conversation with somebody last year, and I was arguing with them about, oh, they said, Americans, yeah, y'all are so over, y'all have such an overinflated sense of yourselves in your country. I'm like, bro, America is the only place, or excuse me, is one of the few places in the world where motherfuckers in unmarked vans can't just walk up and snatch you up without telling you where they taking you. I can't say that no more. Like, I cannot say that no
Facts.
more.
Facts.
I
What's the
can't.
difference between that and kidnapping? Like, before, they've always deported illegals. It's always been a thing. But they can't they couldn't just walk up and be like, hey man, you illegal. That was never the thing. That you'd have to be breaking a crime, or be committing a crime, excuse me, not breaking a crime, committing a crime or doing something like that. And then they can walk up and then be like, okay, well, this guy's illegal, let's deport him. That type of stuff.
Yeah, they'll
Because
catch you. They'll catch you from the initial charges, and the way they approach you is it's a dude in a collared shirt with a weird tie, looking like he make 40,000 dollars a year, a clipboard, some glasses maybe, and a little badge that hangs off his neck, like, yeah, I'm blah 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 from this division of the government, and right now we're investigating your crime, and based on the nature of this crime, you will be deported. I know, when I'm brain farting on his name right now, but when the dancehall dude got deported, in fact, when uh when when Junior Cat got deported for a minute, I was like
Be
kind of
brief,
hanging
AC,
out
so I
with
can
him.
get D free in here. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. He got deported and stuff like that, and I kind of knew his people, and I was kind of hanging out with them and stuff like that, and they kind of explained to me, nah, dude was real nice that deported him and said, listen, once everything is cleared up, they'll let you back, and the family just had to clear up some stuff, but that was pretty much it.
Most def. Did D free, you still there?
I hope
Yeah,
he
I'm
didn't
here.
drop off.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay, yeah, that's Scholar that dropped off. But yeah, D free, you actually having a background in law enforcement, and you were in the military at one point in time. What's your reaction to that video we just showed, of that poor lady getting her car hit and then getting snatched up by dudes with guns?
Um, well, I mean, the way they did it is almost like a kidnapping. Um, that's not how they supposed to conduct themselves. Especially if that was an innocent individual and that wasn't the person you was going after. I mean, if they had already got the person that they was going after, then it was no point of grabbing her out the car. If anything, you walk up to her and make sure she's all right because you just crashed into her. But I mean, the way they going about handling their business is gonna it's they on the verge of starting a civil war. Um, a lot of people already have hatred towards law enforcement as it is, and these guys are just making it that much worse. Um, and I can tell by the way they when they jumped out the car, they realized they were Hispanic. That's when they walked up to the car and took her out. Because the one guy, he was about to walk on the sidewalk, and then he looked back and saw that she was Hispanic. And then that's when he pulled his weapon out and walked towards her car. So, um, I don't. We don't even know if you will ever hear from this lady ever again, because they took her away. I mean, she had no shoes on.
I think she was
She ain't
released.
had.
I think they took her to the hospital and then they released her free. I think that's what I read.
I mean,
But still,
But
the
I
way how
mean,
they snatched her up, the
take her
way
to
how
the
they
hospital.
detained her.
If you was taking her to the hospital, what you placing her in handcuffs for? You got your needle all in her stomach, in her back, and placing
Yeah.
her in handcuffs for what? What was the point of it? I mean, it just. I mean, like I said, they out here doing things recklessly. They got. It's like they don't have a plan on how they're going to do anything. They just going out here grabbing individuals. They get a name or whatever. If they see the individual, they just jump out like they SWAT or something like that. And what they're going to end up doing, they're going to run across the wrong group of people, and they're going to start firing back at them. And it's sad to say, but it's going to be a lot of innocent people that's going to leave this earth because of the way they handle it in their business.
Hey, D Free, I could say something like this. I could see a decoy car, people that look extremely, extremely Latin, and I'm just gonna say it like that. Pull up right next to him, like, "Hey, what's up?" And these dudes try to run him down. They gonna chase him into a nice little spot, and they gonna find themselves in a nice little ambush. And then I can see scenarios more in tune to that. But I wanted to say this:
Yeah,
minorities have a disdain for police, but there's things that can happen. You feel what I'm saying? At least you have the possibility of that law enforcement officer being held accountable for what they're doing. There's no accountability for these fake ass police. So
Matter
people
of fact, I wanna.
people do appreciate. I'm just gonna land it real quick. People do
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
appreciate law enforcement, because even if you hate them, at one point they will come to your rescue. These are the type of people that no, there is no separation. You are something else. You are something else, and you need to be treated accordingly. Law enforcement is law enforcement. There are agencies and stuff like that that work to say, all right, this was a complaint. What time did it happen? I can go back and look at what cruiser, even if the information is vague. Well, what cruiser, out of what precinct, what area was he in? You can narrow these things down to eventually you'll find that officer and hold that person accountable. Outside of that, I don't know where these people are.
Yep, they masked up Gestapo thugs. And it doesn't end there. There's a lady who was actually shot by one of these border patrol agents after again they crashed into her car, and then they grabbed her and arrested her and charged her with a crime because they said she had a gun. But body cam footage has come out that nothing of how that border patrol officer stated it went down. None of it. And I'm gonna read the this article from Reuters, and this is the young lady right here who was unfortunately shot and then arrested. A woman who was shot multiple times by U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents did not ram them with her car and had her weapon stored in her purse at the time of the incident, according to her lawyer, contradicting accounts by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security that described the shooting as an act of self defense. Miramar Martinez, who is 30 years old, was charged on October 5th with assaulting federal officers with a deadly or dangerous weapon after she followed a vehicle driven by border patrol agents with her car in the Brighton Park neighborhood on Chicago's southwest side. The vehicles made contact and a federal agent fired their weapon at Martinez, a U.S. citizen, according to a criminal complaint. DHS said Martinez was armed with a gun, but Martinez's lawyer, Christopher Parenti, said that she never brandished it. This is a second shooting by federal agents in Chicago. The incident on October 4th is at least the second time that federal agents have fired their weapons at Chicago area residents since President Donald Trump's administration launched an aggressive immigration sweep in Chicago last month. Parente told Reuters that Martinez was on her way to donate clothes when she learned from a community group that immigration agents were nearby. She began following a Border Patrol vehicle. This is a quote from her lawyer. I call her a sort of Paul Revere of today. She's trying to tell neighbors, hey, be careful. In the criminal complaint filed in U.S. District Court in Chicago, prosecutors said Martinez tailed the agents, repeatedly yelling "La Migra," which is a term for immigration. A statement released by DHS said that day 9 other cars were also following the federal agents, including one driven by Anthony La Santos Ruiz, who he's another person who was arrested, but I'm not sure that that they actually took him to the grand jury. But essentially, this young lady's lawyer, he is saying that there is body cam footage that just completely contradicts the charges, and he is actually going to look to get a dismissal. But I'm gonna come to AC first, and Free just talked about it right there about these people coming in here with no plan, and then somebody gets hurt. Well, I mean, what's your reaction to again this young lady getting hurt by just lack of planning, lack of execution, and probably lack of training?
Oh, that's what it all boils down to, and you can see it. You can go back to
Oh, and by
early.
and by the way, in the body cam footage, her lawyer is saying that that the agent that shot her before he shot her, he said, "Do something, bitch." That's a quote from her lawyer. Go ahead.
I can believe it because you know the majority, like when you had the Superman guy come out and say he wants to join ICE, then you know that the majority, maybe 98% of these people, are not trained. When you look at how they hold their weapons, when you look at how they run with their weapons, when you just look at the whole thing as an entirety, every one of these clips, you can tell these guys are not trained. They have no sort of form of weapons training, no form of tactical training, no form of any whatsoever training whatsoever. Like these are the type of dudes you could put 100 of them inside of a building, and you can have just a single shooter with a handgun that has some form of tactical training. He will pluck every last one of them off because these guys don't know how to clear a door or clear a pathway. You know how some people say pan or swipe a door path, a single entry, a double entry point. They don't know nothing about buck stops and all of these other tactical terms of how to clear a room, identify the enemy, and even following good intel. They have no training like that. So everything you see them doing is some random, messy looking stuff that's just infuriating people. Like, look at how untrained these dudes. These dudes is gonna mess around and kill somebody or something like that, and then what? But if they're out here already shooting people, like I said, y'all y'all told us it was Charlie Kirk that set it off, so we already here. I don't really. I'm starting to feel like there is no real need to hold back. If this is what you want, I'm gonna give it to you because your side is a lot weaker than what you think they are. Because any man that walks around calling himself an alpha male, bro, you weak as hell. You're weak minded, you're weak in stature, you're just weak. So, they shot this young lady, simply because look at her look, because she was following them. They realized that she speaks Spanish or whatever, whatever. And now you're trying to push the limits, like, some of these other racist cops that got caught out there, and say someone had a gun or someone did this or someone did that. And then when the body cam footage comes out, it's just not what it is. So you got, at the end of the day, man, no, I'm not, uh-uh. My tolerance for this is grown extremely short. I mean, I ain't got no tolerance for it, period. But you know, just nah.
Yep. Yo, AC, you know the difference though, bro? The difference is we've had and seen the evolution of accountability amongst the police officers because of countless of events that have happened of them doing fraudulent stuff. So we have an actual system. We got internal affairs. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a
Yeah,
system in place. With them, it's no accountability. They literally do whatever they want to. He's threatened the person, do something, bitch. Like what? What? And like you said, this is you made a very good point about the tactics that they're using. You could tell that they're amateurs. But if you go and look, it's because the system that they're doing, they're offering bonuses to civilians, right? That may be working at McDonald's or something, offering bonuses and then getting them in there and spitting them out, just throwing them right back into the field untrained. And you're right, somebody's gonna get hurt, but there's gonna be no accountability. There's no system in place. They on Ostarine right now. You know what I mean? And they just
Yeah.
making it up as they go. And it's insane.
Yeah, coming to you, D Free. What's your reaction to this young lady's story? And by the way, they shot her. He didn't just shoot her once. He shot her 5 times. Eventually, before she drove away and got to a repair shop where she called 911.
I mean, she about to be paid. Because especially if she's licensed to carry, well, obviously she must be. She has it in her purse, so she must be licensed to carry. So I mean, they don't have any body cam showing that the weapon was out in the open. They have no leg to stand on. Um, but this is what you get when you get guys fresh out of the academy and don't have any real training in real life situations. You get guys that gets nervous or whatever have you. Um, that's why a lot of times when you fresh out of the academy, they put you with a veteran. They put you with somebody that knows the streets, that knows the beat, and they show you, look, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to handle this situation. They don't just put you out there by yourself or with another rookie. They put you out there with a veteran so you can learn how you're supposed to handle situations, um, depending on what type of situation you come across. But like I said, it seemed like they putting a bunch of rookies out there, and you got rookies working with rookies, and so it's like blind lead the blind. You're just gonna go what you read and not what scenarios you actually been facing. So it's sad to say it's gonna be a lot more people that's gonna get hurt um, because of the tactics that the president is deploying out here. He's just trying to clean up. But I wanted to ask, is this going on anywhere? Because a lot of the incidents that I hear is always happening in Chicago.
Yeah, you could certainly find other instances around the country with ICE just being out of order, but I do agree. There has been a concentration in Chicago, especially in the past month. But
Well,
yeah, but no, these type of illegal snatch and grab, they happen everywhere.
yeah, I'm gonna say it like this. Initially, uh, you saw this type of stuff going on in California when you saw them raid the
Yeah.
supermarkets, when you saw them raid the Home Depots
They
and stuff
grabbed a
like that.
disabled veteran off his
Yeah,
job at a farm.
yeah, exactly. When you see like all of that stuff was going on in California, um, being that uh, um, Illinois is not moving. Is not immediately following what Gavin Newsom had set up to like try to curtail a lot of that stuff. You have them doing what they can do right now just to try to make the statement. But eventually they're gonna be, there's gonna be the court order and stuff like that, and you just start to see less and less of these ICE agents, and they try to do things a little bit more discreetly to whereas they're trying to get intel. All right, we're gonna go over here, we're gonna snatch up this dentist. You feel what I'm saying? Because he may be not, his papers may be close to whatever, so we're gonna go in this dental office and we're gonna snatch up this dentist. And this is the stupid shit that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Using tax information that was released to the IRS through Doge and stuff like that to try to be sneaky. That's why they're striking many of these places that they're going, because they already have the intel on who's who, and just with the tax information, you'll find out who actually pays, real taxes and stuff like that. Your FICO, and do you have a solid EIN, or is your EIN predicated off of work release? I mean, off a work program, or whatever. And that's the stupid shit that they're doing. So they can't even handle low hanging fruit like that, tactically and things like that. For me, when I look at them, and I think D Free could definitely agree with me. When you are engaging a suspect or a target, you have to make sure what police tend to use is officer safety is always established first, and that's setting up a perimeter, knowing who you're going after, set up that perimeter, and then make sure that the takedown happens fast, it happens swiftly, and no one got hurt, not even the suspect. Everyone gets to get in the car, ride home. If the suspect is innocent, you go home. At the end of the night, I go home to my family. And basically that's what these elements are missing, to whereas people can say, oh, all right, ICE is actually doing a job, but you're not doing a job because you're going after low-hanging fruit and people who have not committed crimes, the majority of them, more than
Not
80% of
not
them.
only that, they're terrorizing U.S. citizens, which is not their job at all whatsoever. The ICE is not allowed to recommend for deportation, and at least to my understanding, ICE is not even allowed to detain U.S. citizens. But I guess the Supreme Court has ruled something else because, I mean, they've given them a completely new power and precedence. Like they're calling these things Kavanaugh stops, where now they can ICE and Border Patrol, they're allowed to stop and detain you based upon how you your accent and your skin complexion.
Yeah, how you
So
look.
they're a lot. So it's legalized racial profiling now, and this isn't just by city or state local police. This is the federal government. They can do this anywhere.
But like D Free said earlier, you're going to run up on the wrong group of people in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. And that's just going to be a reality if they're not taking that into consideration by you trying to be so brutal. Remember, brutality is reciprocal. It's just
Absolutely.
not a one-sided thing, because when people get tired of being brutalized, they become more brutal than the person who was brutalizing them.
Yep. We learned that we learned that situation with that war that was taking place over there for almost 3 years. Because that's all that was what Hamas did on October the 7th. At every point in their history, Israel and the United States and Britain and the Allies showed them that might makes right. And if you not on top, you getting taken advantage of and you getting dominated. And that's what October 7th culminated with. Might makes right. And these fucking and these federal agents, they are gonna run into something. And that young man he shot who shot three who shot up the ICE facility in Dallas. All you're doing is you're radicalizing more young men, more young people like that.
Can I
It's
be
like
honest with you, Marky Dan?
it, what?
So, of course, you know about COINTELPRO, right?
What's
Uh,
that?
are you serious?
COINTEL Pro?
Yeah,
No, no. Explain that to me.
that's where the FBI would targeted people like the civil rights movement, and they would spy on them. How they got them MLK files, that was them. They would try to turn people against them. It was basically Hoover, playing the art of war
Oh, so
to
that
dismantle.
was Hoover's. Okay, I see. Yeah, I understand.
So they had something before that, and I didn't even know about this. It sounded like something made up, bro. It was like the ghetto agenda. It sounded like something that a YouTuber would make up, bro. And the video came across. I was like, So, but I checked it, and it was right. Now I got the name wrong because I just found this out the other day and confirmed it. But in that agenda, Marky Dan, uh, it was like it has ghetto in the title, but it was before COINTELPRO. But the FBI people would pay citizens real life money to give them intel on the black community. And America right now, Marky Dan, has probably the richest group of poor people ever. Like our poor people got cell phones. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that being said, it showed me that capitalism is and politics are hand in hand, and America's for sale. That's why Turkey Al trying to buy it. America's for sale, our entertainment, our everything. So with that being said, Marky Dan, you have people like AC, you got people like you that are like, like revolution, but for the most part, it's not enough for y'all. People will put down their guns for a bag. If that's all they got to do, they ain't even the war will be bloodless because all you got to do is invoke money. It's not enough. It's not enough people. Like this situation is outrageous. Dubs, well, this is outrageous. It's outrageous, bro, but I know that nothing will come of it because I've seen what he's done. I've seen him deny court orders and nothing happened to him. This administration really showed the power of the presidency when you want to be a bully pulpit type president, and nobody's going to check you. Congress is so lazy that the founding fathers wanted to make it checks and balances so that we wouldn't get this, but they're so lazy they kept giving the president more and more power, especially after 9/11. And they created this system into where the president has become the supreme lord and ruler. What's to stop a president from saying, I don't want to do 2 terms anymore? That's the old stuff. It's not in the Constitution. I want to do more than 2 terms. What happens?
I mean, at that point, we would be in a constitutional crisis. And I was talking to AC the other day about me and AC and B3 up here. That's how the Civil War is going to start. And that's what that meeting with the generals was about. Pete Hegg said it up here. I will support you in breaking laws and going against these woke rules of engagement that you've been shackled to. He's telling them out there in the open, bro, fuck the Constitution.
And
Be
Trump
loyal
just
to
said,
us, and you're gonna reap the rewards. When we get to that constitutional crisis, and the president just says, "Man, fuck that bullshit ass election. I'm staying another 4 years. You niggas figure that shit out."
bro,
When it comes to that, the military is gonna be split, and that's when the civil war is gonna start. You're gonna have those people in the military who are gonna understand their oath, and that they're gonna understand there's no civilian solution to getting rid of this motherfucker. We have to act. And then you're gonna have the other side, the fascists, who are going to say, "Man, fuck that bullshit. We like it up here."
bro, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm Where I'm at with all of this is we are in the constitutional crisis right over to Israel. And something that he said that I don't think a lot of people or a lot of media is really, really cooking on. He said, when it comes down to wars, we're not going to have any more of these politically correct wars. So when he's telling you, fuck your accords, fuck your agreements, fuck these acts, and everything that y'all tried to sign to say this is what you're supposed to do and this is what you're supposed to do. We don't give a shit about that. When a president goes over to foreign waters, when he goes over to foreign waters and shoots a boat, remember, how did World War II start? It started because a luxury liner was sank by the German army. An
No,
English
it
luxury.
started because they invaded Poland.
No, but the English luxury liner. That it was an English ship that sparked it. The invasion of Poland was the thing that got everyone involved. But the war actually started between Great Britain and Germany first, and then the world got involved when Hitler started to invade Poland, and then he started with his SS and all of these other things. But if that luxury liner, if Hitler's army or U-boats, whatever they were, didn't shoot down that luxury liner, I don't know if that war with Great Britain would have escalated to being a world war, because then France got involved on the side of Britain because Germany wanted to establish soldiers and bases in France to attack the UK or England. France said no. Italy said no. And this is what brought these other countries in. You feel what I'm saying? And then when he was like, okay, our best strategic move is to go after Poland. If we go to Poland, we're damn near in the heart of Europe and we can take this shit over. And that's when everything went to hell, and then Hitler kind of changed his tune with that to say, "Oh, now it's about ethnic cleansing. We have to get rid of these Jews." Although he was saying the same thing, but
He was
that's
saying that shit from the start.
yeah, but yeah, exactly. But that wasn't his rhetoric in fact of starting the wars and starting that war with England. So at the end of the day, bro, you know, this president has done that same thing. You feel what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
Argentina, who used to be an ally of the U.S., a strategic ally, a partner, we were getting oil from them. We had a long history with them. And then this president, and the mere fact that uh, a dictator came into power, that's the type of shit that ruins relationships. So this man goes over there and he shoots uh, three different boats, killing I think a total of 21 or maybe more people.
25.
Yeah, 25 people. So where when you look at that, it is what it is. We are already
And
here.
he's disrupted the fishing industry in the Southern Caribbean, and he's disrupted the cruise and tourism industry for Trinidad
Exactly.
completely. Ain't no more boats going heading over there no more.
So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, the constitutional crisis is actually here. Fascism is here. Don't stop saying, "Oh, it's not here," because then you're like a frog in a in a
But
uh,
I
in a
feel like
boiling
I feel like
boiling
we
pot of water.
still have avenues to fight it constitutionally.
Yeah, we
I
have
feel like
those
we still
avenues,
have
but
that, and we do have some. Oh, hold on, somebody just popped up. Oh, that's Boxica, and we still do have some allies within the other party. Like we already see their coalition is starting to fracture. Like
yeah,
we
but
see
what I'm
Marjorie
saying is,
Taylor Greene splitting off. We see Thomas Massey and even
oh,
Nancy
mate,
Mace. Yeah, Nancy Mace. She put her signature on that discharge petition. She's completely discredited herself.
yeah,
Like she's
but
not going nowhere with
but
that
what
governor's race.
but what I'm saying is this. Yes, we still have these mechanisms to fight. You feel
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
still got
saying?
the
And we are
courts.
actually in a real fight because just like you brought up Glenn Kirshner earlier, when you listen to Glenn Kirshner, how many cases have he told you this year alone he's in court to deal with Trump? Over 40. Over 40 cases they done filed against Donald Trump and his actions. So the Democrats are fighting. People are fighting. But when just the other sectors of the media are telling us that, oh, we're slowly moving towards this. No, stop saying that. We are actually here. Because other than that, you're like that frog in a boiling pot of water. You don't know that it's hot water, and you don't know that you're being boiled until you're dead. And by that time, you still won't know because you're dead. So for me, when it's stuff like that, I'm just like, nah. I want to see. I want to know exactly what I'm dealing with. I want to call it for what it is. We are actually here.
No, absolutely. I respect you for saying that. I just don't think I could deny you in saying that. Like we are here. We have an orange idiot. Like JD Vance said that if he was in Mike Pence's place, he would not have certified the election for Joe Biden. So
Yeah, and that's
these
why he
people
was
are here.
chosen. That's why he was chosen. That's why Mike Pence is not vice president anymore. Trump will replace. He will replace people that choose their job or the Constitution. Even like it's like Trump. They could agree with 98% of what Trump says, but the 2% where they're like, look, I'm not even that sleazy. Donald Trump will replace them, and that's why I don't think the resistance exists, Marky Dan. I think that Americans have been, like I said, they're for sale. They've been experiencing really good time. They got glasses that could read to them. They got AI. Look, AI with all the alarming things about AI, Marky Dan. They're alarmed at Tupac videos. That's what really got them. It wasn't the possibility of the boom, the bubble busted. It wasn't anything that could really, really mess up their life. It was the entertainment. America has been rocked and lulled to sleep. They have sold their freedom to the government, and this is the price of it. And because America has such a great military force and presence, foreign places are going to bend the knee to Donald Trump, like the guy that bought him a luxury plane, and then when the African president came, he was
Matter of
like,
fact, yeah, go ahead, go ahead, Boxer Scholar.
when the African president came over, he was like, well, I wouldn't mind a private plane from you. Like he's demanded, like it's just so crazy to me, and it's like if they really wanted to do something to Donald Trump, all they had to do is put like a device on there. I ain't gonna say what kind, so it's flagged live, but they could put a device on there that could really get rid of Donald Trump. I feel like it's like, why would you take that from people who have been your enemies in the past? But that's neither here nor there. I feel like this,
But
Marky Dan.
did you hear about this, Scholar? They're building the Qataris an Air Force facility in Idaho.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, like this is not a NATO ally. This is not somebody that we have a formal treaty with. Donald Trump just put out an executive order. I mean, he essentially just said, "Oh, if anybody bombs Qatar, they'll be at war with the United States." And then and he also got a $400 million jet from them, and now he's fucking giving them an Air Force facility where they'll
Yeah,
be able to fly planes over American cities.
yeah. He pledged to protect them, but won't honor the deal that we have with Ukraine. You can't make this up.
Yeah, but the crazy part is he's in a real catch-22 situation because you make all of these pledges to Qatar and stuff like that, and other countries that are in the Middle East, but you turn around and you let Israel bomb them.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's a great place, AC, to move on to the next topic. Obviously, we know last week a ceasefire was announced. I believe it was yesterday. The hostages were finally released, at least the living ones. There are still some hiccups with a few of the dead, excuse me, the remains of a couple of the hostages. Israel is saying that Hamas is not honoring that. After they said that, Hamas released four bodies. But Israel is releasing 2,000 Palestinian prisoners that were serving life sentences. And as I said, in exchange, Hamas is releasing all the hostages. Um, I'm gonna actually give Trump a pat on the back, and I'm gonna say good job, because from what I've been hearing, he forced Israel into this, or excuse me, he forced Netanyahu to take this deal, because this deal has been on the table for over a year to end this war and to give up all the hostages. This has been on the. I'm gonna say it one more time. This deal to release all these hostages has been on the table since January of 2024. But because Benjamin Netanyahu, and let me put the picture up here, because this sick, depraved man didn't want to lose power, because he was being threatened by the right wing ministers in his cabinet, he said no. And those right wing ministers, they're settlers, they're colonizers. They want these Palestinian people to be wiped off the face of the earth so that they can go ahead and achieve some biblical prophecy of making that land their own. I mean, like this guy, and I put it right here. Since Netanyahu turned down the hostage deal on January 21st, 2024, 43,000 people in Gaza have either been unalived or starved to death. 3 out of 10 of those deaths are children. So
So,
I'm gonna take
Marky,
a second to I'm gonna take hold on one second. I'm gonna take a second to once again, I'm gonna cheer on Marco Rubio and Steve Witkoff for getting those hostages home. This is a beautiful moment. Also, I'm just glad no more people are dying at such a high rate in Gaza. Boxer Scholar, before I let you go, I'm glad that the bombings have ceased. Israel has pulled back their forces to a certain distance, and I'm hearing, at least from Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, U.S. peacekeepers are supposed to flood the area. There has been aid flooding into the area from different aid groups. So people are being fed. Little babies are getting the food and aid they need. I'm just very happy for that. But I can't not underscore this sick, depraved man. and the fact that this could have been over a year ago. Go ahead, AC. What's your thoughts on
No,
it's
I think
a
Scholar wanted to
ceasefire.
talk
It's
first.
not.
I think
Yeah,
Scholar
yeah, yeah.
wanted to go first.
I'll let Box and Scholar go first. But Scholar, what's your reaction? Right now it's a ceasefire. This is not a peace deal. So the fighting could continue back on after the I think there's a deadline to this ceasefire. So I'll have to look and do more research.
So,
But the fighting could
Marky,
really go back to starting. Go ahead.
Mark, I understand that you're trying to be, mutual, what do you call it, consistent in your criticism of Donald Trump, but Donald Trump has never made a great deal. And the mere fact that you said that this was on the table,
I gave credit to his administration, to Marco
okay,
Rubio and Witkoff.
little Marco. So the deal has been on the
He put
table.
but you got to he put them in position, but in position, Boxer Scholar.
But
You know what I'm
hold on, hear
saying?
me out,
Regardless how
Marky
you
Dan.
feel about
You
him,
ain't even heard my opinion.
I
So
apologize. Go ahead. Go.
so this deal was on the table for a year, meaning his administration put the deal up, and now they got a ceasefire. Now all of a sudden, like you're supposed to celebrate. You already know what this is, Marky Dan. This is the carrot that they're dangling in front of everybody. Nothing's gonna happen. He's just gonna use this as a talking point to say, "We ended the war. We saved so many lives, so many lives, so many innocent lives." So yeah, so there's a sliver of good in this, like that the people will actually return, but it won't last. You already know, like I know.
Okay.
You know, Netanyahu has for some reason. There's a video of Donald Trump pulling out the man's chair. A man that don't care about anybody but himself still bent the knee when he had Benjamin Netanyahu. So there's probably bigger forces at play to here. But yeah, there is a sliver of hope of positivity.
Okay, my take is gonna be way different, way different because at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it like this: I don't give this administration credit for shit when it comes down to that. Where my credit goes to, it goes to the previous administration, Biden's administration, when they negotiated the bulk. When you look at those stats of the amount of hostages that were released the first go around as opposed to the second go around, over 1,800 hostages was released under that bipartisan Biden deal. That Trump was like, no, vote against that because I want to be able to use that as a talking point for the campaign. So he was completely against releasing any hostages. You feel what I'm saying? Because he wanted to use it as a talking point to go against Joe Biden during Joe Biden's administration. So it's the deal that we're talking about was the deal that he stopped when he came into power and then said, let's renegotiate it now that I need that as a distraction. So this was strategic. Let me also point this out. Since this ceasefire agreement has been negotiated, what the media won't tell people is this: that more than 5 Palestinians have been shot dead because the Palestinians are saying, the ones that are on the ground, like, listen, they are shooting at people who they think are coming close to the yellow line. IDF burnt down hospitals and power plants, and their statement was, take this as a departing whatever, to still incite something. So then when Palestinians get pissed off at that, y'all start shooting them. You say, see, it's the Palestinians who are breaking this peace agreement.
But by the way, while we can celebrate this, Israel is still an apartheid state. Like there's still people in the West Bank getting their land stolen right the fuck now, and if they even make an impression like they're gonna fight back or stick their chin up in the air, they get murdered.
Yeah,
Like not just them, their entire family gets murdered.
there's the
And
actual
there's no legal recourse. Like there's nothing. The
there's the
police might even
picture
help with the murder.
there's the picture of the IDF soldiers setting blaze to hospitals. So why, if this is a peace agreement, why are you burning down hospitals? Why are you burning down power plants? Why are you
Same shit they did
claiming
in
that?
Lebanon.
Why are you claiming that these 5 individuals, 5 young men, who IDF just killed, I think the day before yesterday, or possibly yesterday, you said they crossed the yellow line, and for soldiers' safety, y'all shot them, but it was never reported whether or not they had guns, they were brandishing guns, or anything. They were
But
yelling.
that's their policy though, AC. Their
Yeah,
policy
but then the
is
point is,
the an
this.
imaginary line. Yeah, go
And
ahead, finish your point. Go ahead.
the point is this: this imaginary yellow line is something that, if we're going to negotiate peace, how do we negotiate peace when you've already stabbed me in the back, and then you took the knife out of my, then you pulled the knife 2 inches out of my back and say, okay, now we can talk peace. Nigga, you still got the fucking back and the knife in my back, and could nobody explain it better than Malcolm X? So it's like we can't start a real talk of peace when you still got this goddamn dagger buried in my back. And that's what that invisible line is.
No, absolutely. There's a magazine article. Excuse me. There's a magazine publisher from Israel. I think it's called Plus 972 magazine, and they did a whole investigative report where they interviewed 6 different IDF soldiers who was in a drone brigade, and they said that the drone operators said they were given orders that if an area was an evacuation zone, and if they found anybody, it didn't matter if it was a 2-year-old baby walking around, they were given orders to drop grenades on those motherfuckers. And they said that it would be a line drawn in blood. That they said after you killed 1 or 3 of them, they got the message. So it's the same. So I agree, AC. It's the same shit. It's literally the same shit. You step over this line, we're gonna unalive you. So I don't know. I really don't like the only thing that could really save these people, or to save, or not even save, but change Israel from being this apartheid state, is if an awakening happens in that nation, like what happened in the 1960s in our fucking nation, and they have their own civil rights movement for Palestine. But that's not gonna fucking happen, bro. These Zionists, the way how they got their grip on this society, they're not gonna let it happen ever. Even if it's not Netanyahu in power, the next fucking guy, he's gonna have his directive, no matter which party or which coalition he forms with.
No, I definitely agree. And you know, you look at this war. Israel has been at war since Israel wanted to be Israel. This goes back to biblical times. This goes back to the 1800s, to the 20s, from the 1800s, 1900s. Now we're in the 20th century, and shit still hasn't changed, because what you're doing and what other governments are doing, like the UK, like France, like Spain, you're funding this type of behavior over there because y'all all wanted your own industrial revolution. You wanted your own ability to be able to capitalize off of crude oil and things like that, and slave labor. So for me, it's just like, the world leaders came together to bail Israel out, to save Israel. And now the world leaders have created this Frankenstein, and don't nobody know how to deal with it, because all of you guys were 100%, are, and still 100% responsible. We cannot talk. We cannot have a debate and talk about you want us to have sympathy for you because of what Hitler did to Polish Jews, not Jews coming from Israel, but Polish Jews and German Jews. You feel what I'm saying? You want us to have sympathy for all of that, but we're not supposed to have sympathy for Palestine. We're not supposed to have sympathy for them when you actually taken the place of Hitler. You feel what I'm saying? His Gestapo, his SS army. You feel what you feel me? You just slap you slap a double SS on IDF and it fits, the jacket fits perfectly.
No, but I mean, boxers got. Excuse me, AC. I watched a video on Instagram, and it was literally this classroom of these little boys in Israel, and they were repeating to them, what do you think, what do we do to Christians? We spit on them. If Jesus Christ was alive right now, what would we do? We would spit on him. And it was just like the most depraved shit they were telling these little kids to repeat. That was 10 years ago. Those
And
little kids are
this is
fucking
Jewish.
soldiers now with guns.
He's freaking Jewish, like bruh.
No, like
Bruh.
the
That's why it's
Talmud,
called
I learned
Judeo
the
Christianity.
Talmud. The Talmud is so fucking disrespectful to Jesus Christ, because the Talmud was written 2 centuries after his death, and it talks about Mary is a whore, and Jesus is boiling in a pot of shit in hell. No, like the Jews, they don't fuck with Jesus Christ, or at least I say the Jews over there, the Zionists, they don't fuck with Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the whole Christian faith came out of him, and we do know the Crusade Wars, where it was, all the religious factions were all at war. You feel what I'm saying? So, I I get it, but at the end of the day, it's like, bro, he's still one of your own. He still followed the Torah. He still followed the Sabbath. He still went to synagogue. He just didn't go to the rich people's synagogue because that was the synagogue that actually, according to the Bible, God was pissed off about. Gold ideology, statue worship, and shit like that. So miss me on you trying to come at me with a religious perspective about this fight between Judaism and Islam when it comes down to Palestine
Bro, there is
and
no
opening.
fight. That's just a Zionist construct.
Yeah,
Like
no doubt,
Jews and Muslims have actually been pretty cool for centuries.
man.
Like there was a point in time where like that literally Palestinians and Jews were neighbors in Palestine. They welcomed them freely.
All
Then
day.
that
When you look
then
at
they came with guns.
bro, let me put it to people like this: if you went to the holy city of Mecca, right, and people think that Mecca is just Mecca, but walking distance away from the Kaaba is the wall. Walking distance away is the Temple of David. Walking distance away is the point where they say Moses spoke with the burning bush. Walking distance away is where Jesus held his one of his great sermons. So all of it happened within walking distance, and I'm not talking about a 2-3 day walk. I'm talking about less than a half an hour type walk. So it's all right there. It's all right fucking there. So people need to understand that when you talk about these things and what we need to be researching and actually trying to get a greater understanding is, okay, Israel, you have no foundation on a religious argument. You have no foundation on
None.
saying someone is trying to destroy the Israeli people, because those are the same talking points that Hitler said, but you're just switching it up. When Hitler said the migrants and the Polish Jews are the thing that's impurifying our blood. When you say things like that, Netanyahu, a person like myself will tell you, I don't see no difference between you and Hitler. And you can call me anti Semitic all you want, and I'll just tell you, well, your behavior is anti Semitic towards them, towards the Palestinians. Because a good Jewish person who follows the laws and the traditions of the Torah and the Jewish belief, you feel what I'm saying? Your whole thing is you do better, you be better. So how are you doing better or being better when this is what you're doing to a fellow human, and they don't have a jihad against you? So explain yourself. Who's the real anti-Semitic here? And that's what I would tell this man, and completely shatter everything. Like literally embarrass the crap out of this dude. And people be like,
Maybe
how
let you in
Netanyahu
a
let just the average Joe American, you know what I'm saying, who has a revolutionary mind, who has history on his side, just completely dismantle your whole policy, your whole approach to governing, and how you're dealing with the with Gaza, and you're dealing with the Palestinians, even how you're dealing with Hamas. So it's like, bro, miss me on all of that.
absolutely. I think any veneer that Israel has left has been completely shattered. I came up, I was a military channel kid. My dad was in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? He loved watching the military channel. I liked watching the Yom Kippur War. I watched this documentary about World War II pilots. They were threatened with losing their U.S. citizenship if they went to help Israel establish if they went to help establish the state of Israel. And at the time, as a kid listening to these stories, I'm thinking, wow, these are just these impoverished people that came from such disgusting and depraved Nazi Germany, that they tried to exterminate them and they refused to stay down. And then they just went and established their own state. And I always used to sit there and be like, but why are these Arabs so mad? Why are they so intent on killing them? And in my childish mind, I said, "Oh, Arabs must just hate Jews." But as an adult now, I really think about it. You have to really, like international, like on the international stage, you have to do some really fucked up shit to get a coalition of countries to band together and say, "Bro, we got to get them the fuck up out of here immediately."
Exactly.
No, so these people, I look at the initial establishment of Israel. I mean, those people are criminals. They went to their neighbors with guns and told them to leave their land or else they would die. I mean, it's exactly what's happening in the West Bank. They stole those people's land, and there was this I wish I had it for the live. I would do I would show you it. Matter of fact, when I find it, I'll send it to you later. But there was this live, or excuse me, this Instagram vid about this lady, and she showed up to this British dude's doorstep, and she's Italian, and she's saying, "Oh, my ancestors, I'm an ancestor to the Roman Empire, and this is my house. You need to leave right now." And he's laughing. He's like, "What are you talking about? I have a deed." And then she's like, "My God, Jupiter promised me this house. You need to leave." And she said, "Oh, you're joking, right? This is a joke." And then she shot him and moved all this shit out and went up in his place. There's no
Wow.
difference. There is no difference at all what these people are doing.
We see the history of it in taking Native American people and putting them on a reservation.
Shit, we started with colonialism. Shit, we can end with it.
Exactly. It's no different. You see how this works. The rich and powerful put themselves in position to where they're always taking from those who have much less than them. This is why monarchies fall. This is why governments topple. This is why
Yep.
things like the empire of the Roman Empire fell. The Chinese empires fell. You feel what I'm saying? Because there was this one guy who said, listen, we only need one language. This is all one country. We all need one language. So for all of these emperors, y'all either laying down under my rule or whatever, whatever. And those other emperors like, why the fuck we gotta lay down to your rule? Why can't you lay down to my rule? So then China got all fucked up. And then it was occupied by Japan.
Yep. Yep.
So at the end of the day, man, it's just like, you know, you have to have fine that fine understanding of where where your religious liberties end and your actual liberties begin, as
You
far
know
as when
that's how the Japanese people viewed themselves like the Israels. They viewed themselves as the chosen people, and that they had an actual living God among them,
yeah,
the emperor,
because
and that every
a lot of
action
it
that they
came
took was
a lot of it
towards
came
the
yeah,
the
because
final victory.
a lot of it came from just the relation or whatever to Genghis Khan. If you really go back into that history, but what I'm saying is informing a government that works. The reason why the American experiment worked for up until this second term of Donald Trump is because everybody brought into it. You're allowed to have your religious freedoms, but I'm also allowed to have my civil liberties. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, there are those points where the two intersect, but then that's what the courts are for. If there's that much of a dispute, and when the courts give their decision, you walk away. You walk away. Somebody may be unhappy, but it was decided by a court that the two of you trusted in. So that's what makes this country work as opposed to many other countries, and how dictators move and stuff like that. And just like we was talking earlier, to whereas we still have some checks and balances that are fighting. We have this coalition of federal judges that just came out. We've got a coalition of lawyers and stuff like that are fighting and stuff like that. And just to end it, just to land my plane right here. I'm starting to see this video. I don't remember the young lady's name, right? But this young girl is out here saying she wants to run for the Senate or something like that because she's sick and tired of the inactivities of the Democrats and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, then I can honestly tell you're not engaged in this political fight. You're standing outside looking in, and then you're following some other weird talking points. But the reason why I bring it up is this: uh, what the Senate actually needs is just young, fresh thought, but the Senate also needs those who have that experience in governance, or has done things where it was about the people, not to say I want to run for something because I'm mad at this situation. Yes, there are candidates who have done things like that, and then when they got in there, you kind of see their transformation to where they start to understand how government works, how you have to lobby and do all of these different things to get bills passed and stuff like that. They kind of get it. But when you're just coming out here and you're just criticizing the situation, and then you're getting a whole lot of momentum and traction because of these type of things, then it's this is not the time for that, And I just have to say it like that. Just this is not that moment. We are in a serious fight for democracy, and we don't need a more inexperienced people who just want to come up there and make noise and not really understand how policy works, how governance works, and things like that.
No, I agree 1,000%. Salute RGM, man. You came too late. I'm about to end the show. Matter of fact, RGM, Nah. I gotta end the show because this place I'm trying to get food from, they close in the next 20 minutes, but they probably gonna whip something up for me in that time. But RGM, I'm gonna talk. We gonna talk, bro. We gonna do the AI episode. It's a shame we didn't get to do it today, but it is what it is, man. It happens like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I flaked on you those last couple of times, so it's really my fault. Nah, it's my bad, bro. Um, but AC, we cooked on a lot of great topics we cooked on today. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second, AC. Give me 1 second.
But so there's no awkward silence or anything like that. Just to recap on my feelings about a lot of this stuff. Basically, I feel like this. Um, we are actually in a
Okay, my apologies.
constitutional
I'm back.
crisis. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on 1 sec. Hold on 1 sec. I don't know what happened to my screen. It froze for a sec. But let me get this off the screen. Okay, there we go. Yeah, man. Salute RGM. It happens, bro. We're gonna talk. Me and AC, we have conversations behind the scenes about AI and our future with it. So it'll be interesting to get that on the channel. We did a lot today, man. We covered the Caribbean Holocaust. Who the man who truly the man that Christopher Columbus truly was. We covered potential escalations that could lead to civil wars with these federal troops and agents in our cities snatching and grabbing people and crashing into people, and now even escalating to actually shooting people and nearly unaliving them. I mean, we covered a lot. Then we got to that guy to Israel and Gaza. But AC, my bro, it is always a blast talking to you. You always bring a more mature and older perspective. You always teach me things I didn't know. Even with subjects, I think I'm expert. I think of myself as an expert on World War II, and I didn't even or I'm not gonna say I didn't know about what you call the Luxembourg sinking. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go look into that. But yeah, I thought the war was started because of Germany invading Poland,
yeah, that
and they had a
started the
defensive pact with Britain and France and Belgium,
that
and that
started
made
the
up the
World
Allies.
War, but the initial war was started when Germany sank the Luxembourg, and it was like, oh, okay, like stuff like that. Uh, I I was a history buff when I was in high school. I was taking like Regency history classes in like the 10th grade and stuff like that, because just those type of events and stuff like that, they intrigued the shit out of me as a young kid. So when it comes down to talking about World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, Korean War, Bay of Pigs, all of those things that were happening from the 20s to the 60s to even into the 70s, I was all over that.
No, absolutely. I'm exactly the same way. I look at World War II as I don't want to say greatest because I mean it was such a tragedy, but at the same time it's the greatest. It's one of the greatest events in human history. I mean, it was a war fought across two oceans, three different continents. Over 60 million people died. You had I mean, not only that, I mean the characters involved in it. You had just a crazy psychotic, genocidal, but highly charismatic guy in Adolf Hitler who has his society under its grip. And then he's so vengeful about World War I and the fact that the Kaiser gave up, and he employs this strategy of just fuck it, we're just gonna go for it. We're gonna overwhelm them. And it fucking worked.
Yeah.
And then you got Winston Churchill, a guy who refuses to back down no matter what. Like it's just one of my favorite periods in history to really study. Like I look at it like I'm a Lord of the Rings type of guy. I like to study medieval history too and sword
Yeah, like
fighting. I look at that as our age of heroes. You know what I'm
let me
saying?
ask
You
you
have
this
motherfuckers
question.
climbing up cliffs,
Let me
and
ask
with
you this
walls of
question.
bullets headed to them. Yeah.
When like being that you brought up Lord of the Rings, right? Uh that brought me into a comparison of like the Matrix. If I was a character in Lord of the Rings, or or in the Matrix, I would be somewhat like an oracle. You come to me for information. You feel what that's the person I've always said if I was in a video game, this is who I'd be. I'd be the arbiter of all the information. You need to find out how you do this with this quest. Well, you need to get this particular weapon from here, and then once you get this weapon from here, then you need to go get the helmet of truth and blah blah blah, the cloak of invisibility, and that from there, that's the only way you can defeat, Maltazar, the dragon hybrid, or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? So if it was the Matrix, I know I would have been the Merovingian, because once I saw the Matrix, he was my favorite character. Like Matrix 2, it was like, oh shit. Yeah, that's me. I'm the Merovingian.
Nah, most def fam. It's always great talking to you, AC. We're gonna come back. I might do another political stream. If not before this Friday, then it might be this Sunday. Actually, no, I'm doing a live for Formula One. This
Oh,
Saturday
okay.
they coming to, yeah, they having the U.S. Grand Prix.
Bro, I didn't know
I
you
think
was
it's
in
in
the
Vegas.
F1. I've been into F1 since I've been into MotoGP, going all the way back to the Nikki
Yeah,
A.
I like MotoGP.
You feel what I'm saying? Between like for me, I think I can go back to where I was seriously messing with F1.
I've
Uh,
always been a Mercedes fan. Always, because
was
Lewis Hamilton is Grenadian, and my mother
okay,
is Grenadian.
okay. So like me, I could,
And when they had them chrome, that chrome color for the suits and the car, that's one of the coldest
yeah,
wraps I've ever
that
seen,
chrome
bro.
green and black color. That
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mercedes was hot back then, but I go back with F1. I'd probably say a little before Michael Schumacher. Like when
Yeah, I forget you old. I be forgetting you in your 50s. I forget this
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because I remember when young Lewis Hamilton came in, and then I remember when um, Juan Montoya came in from tried to come into F1 racing, and Lewis Hamilton was just handling everybody. Like him in that Mercedes car was doing Ferrari dirty. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
telling you.
So
And I still think he could get back. Obviously, this season is a wash. I don't know what it's going to take from Ferrari because they have the drivers. I think Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. You can't ask for two better drivers than those two boys. But
uh-huh.
it's something, I don't know what it is. They can't compete, or they do compete, but it's not. Their car is not what McLaren just put out this year. Their
See,
car
the
is not
thing.
what Red Bull and Mercedes have been putting out in recent
Yeah,
years.
exactly. And then you got to look at cars that are coming from uh Lance Stroll, and who drives the pink car again? Who drives the pink car?
You talking about Alpine?
Yeah, Alpine, and the Alpine vehicle, and stuff like that. And with Ferrari, I think Ferrari is now starting to come to the realization that we can't live off the history anymore. We really have to start to push the envelope. Just like we do in our street cars, this is not the Michael Schumacher era anymore. Ferrari is still a legacy name, but when it comes down to pushing the envelope with different technologies and stuff like that, although you still got to follow the F F1 rules, I think Ferrari may be at the pinnacle of saying that, hey, maybe we have to, you know, really hone in on certain features that we have with this car, and it's basically maybe come down to engine dynamics and displacement and where your torque is, because the car the car is fast, but when it comes down to what is it called again? Like the drafting. I forgot the term that F1 uses and stuff
You
like
talking
that.
about RD, what they call it? DRS. You talking about
Yeah,
DRS?
DRS. Yeah, DRS. when it comes
Mm.
down to DRS, you see other companies, other car manufacturers just shit on Ferrari when it comes down to DRS, and Ferrari sometimes can't close that gap, especially when you're in DRS, and they can't close that gap and capitalize on it going into the turn, whether you're on inside or outside. But you used to see Schumacher like be a pro at that.
But that's before the DRS era though. Those cars, it was a lot more on. It was a lot more. It had a lot more to do with the driver's talent. And
Yeah,
I'm one of those dudes. I don't like to hear that shit because I feel like it's used to discredit Hamilton because he is in the DRS era and they're in the V8 era. But you can't deny 100 wins. What two?
nah,
I think he got 200 P1s. Um, what? 7 championships. They robbed him. They robbed him in 22, or it might have been 21. They robbed him in Abu Dhabi.
uh-huh.
I just don't think you could deny my Grenadian brother at
Nah,
all whatsoever.
like you people
Well,
tend to talk
Schumacher was a
about.
bad boy. That now that's a guy he could go toe to toe with anybody on that track.
Yeah, people talk about Verstappen and how dominant Verstappen is and how dominant the
I don't
Red
like
Bull.
Max, but I gotta give it to the nigga. He's
He
he's
could
one of
drive
them
his
guys.
ass off, bro. That dude could
Yeah,
drive his ass off. I
no,
gotta
he's
get.
a warrior.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like Max is a great driver. He's going to be a legendary driver. But um the big boy on the track each night uh that everybody lines up, and no matter where the race is, the person that people tend to look for, especially when you tuning into the race late, you want to first tune in and say what position is Hamilton in.
Of course.
And to
Yeah.
me, that's just the reality. Oh, where's Hamilton? Let me see what position he is in. If he's in the top 10, he probably could maybe get a podium. You know what I'm saying?
I remember when Mercedes was kicking ass, bro. They went. This man was started at P20. I think he didn't finish qualify. He didn't finish in the qualifying, or he got disqualified for something. And I think he got all the way up to third,
Yeah.
but he started at P20. Like that's just how cold that nigga was, bro.
Yeah,
Just
I
cold.
remember that race. He had it was a time penalty, something, because they had a weird adjustment on the car. And I think Ferrari dry snitched them out, and it cost them their original position
F1 is one
that
of the
they.
gayest sports I know, bro. It's one of the gayest goddamn sports where the governing body, like we talk about bias and
Yeah,
cheating. Dumb niggas cheat, bro, all the fucking time. In 2021, they didn't want that black man. They didn't want that young man whose father was from a little island called Grenada to win
yeah,
that 8th championship.
yeah. It was basically you penalized them on an adjustment off of one of his wings, and that's what caused him to get that 20th position. And I was like,
But
are you
AC,
kidding?
AC, we're gonna talk more. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, I'm gonna send
definitely,
you the
because I
link
know
for
you
this
got to go
Friday. We
get your
definitely,
grub.
yeah, most def. We're gonna talk this Sunday, during the race. Where is it? I know it's in the U.S. I'm not sure where the rally is. But we're gonna talk AC. And once again,
If we
salute
at
to
the end of the
everybody.
season, it might be Miami. If it's at close to the end of the season, which I think it is, it might be the race in Miami.
Okay, most def. That's beautiful, beautiful. They always at least I remember they have a nice track that I like. We're gonna talk this Sunday about F1. Obviously, I got my show this Saturday for anybody looking out. They like college football. College Football Zone will be live once again, breaking down the biggest matchups in college football. Once again, thank you to everybody. Salute, salute, salute. I see my baby vacay, RGM, my brother, late but on time. Jay Gibson always pulling up to support. Boxing Scholar, my brother D Frilio. Angie, baby,
I
always in the building. Everybody that came through, and of course, my brother AC. AC, you got
I'm
any
a
final
just
words?
Yeah, my final words is this. Next time you holler at D Free, say D Free, how you gonna go on another channel and try to get at me about our fantasy football? Oh, they was on you. They was on you about that fantasy football. They like I ain't seen Marky in a minute. He his team lost the last three.
Hey,
I
them
ain't see him
niggas,
in a minute.
bro. Listen, my Friday work schedule is busy as hell. I deal with a lot of clients because I work in a law office on Fridays. That's my attorney's client day. Okay, the Eagles lost on a Thursday. I didn't go. I wasn't on none of the lives in the morning on a Friday. Them niggas, oh, Marky been missing. We can't find it. Man, them niggas, bro, them niggas
Yeah,
is crazy.
bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. So enjoy your
And then
evening,
his
man.
commanders went out there and laid an egg. So good for that boy.
Yeah, enjoy your evening, Marky.
All right, bro. All right, bro. But once again, salute to everybody in the building, man. Smash that like button, subscribe, and we're going to catch y'all next time, bro. Peace.